Hi everybody, welcome back. Welcome to our 10th lecture in consumer market research. This lecture is going to be kind of brief because I think the book does a pretty good job of giving you the basics of writing reports, how to do bar charts and when to do bar charts and line charts and a little bit of the basics on qualitative versus quantitative. And I don't want to cover all that again. I want to make a few points is all this week. Things that I found to be helpful when writing reports, when reporting on results. The first thing is to know who your audience is, and the book talks about that. Um, Understand what it is that they're trying to find out. Understand the level of detail that your audience is looking for. And again, as the book makes the point, if you're giving a report to some executives, then you probably want to keep it very high level, very, very brief. And you might have a very, very detail oriented kind of client that's looking for over 120 pages of slides. And if that's the case, then you need to deliver in terms of that. Number two is I think it's important when you write a report to review the objectives because you want to make sure that you're answering the questions that you set out to answer in the first place. I think the kiss of death for a market researcher, the one thing that I dread hearing from a client is tell me something I don't know, or well, I didn't need to spend all that money just to find that out because I already knew that. I think it's very, very helpful to review the proposal, review the objectives, go over the questionnaire or the discussion guide, and see from the beginning what it was you were trying to find out, and then make sure that you ultimately answer those questions when you write your report. And thirdly, and I've said this before, the book says it, tell a story. Figure out what your story is. Spend a little bit of time with the data, or if it's qualitative, spend some time with the transcripts or with the recordings, and figure out from beginning to end what it is that you want to say. Don't just throw a whole hodgepodge of quantitative or qualitative facts at the reader, but figure out what is your story. To me, a good story I can summarize in 2 or 3 lines what that storyline is. Even if it's as simple as they like the product, there is potential for the product, and what needs to be fixed about the product is A, B, and C. Just be clear is I think what the important point is that I want to make. So I want to talk briefly about qualitative, then we'll talk about quantitative. When it comes to qualitative reporting, again, as the book mentions, PowerPoint is becoming the norm in terms of reports, but it's not always the case. Sometimes a client will want to see a report in PowerPoint. What I do is I write an executive summary in Word, and then I'll write a final report in PowerPoint that has designs or that has models, schematics for concepts that I want to emphasize. Book talks about verbatims. Verbatims are a big part of a qualitative report. Quotes in some of the respondents' own words. It's expected, and there's nothing the clients like more than to hear a client in his or her own words. And video is great. If you've get some videotapes, especially if you've done like one-on-one interviews, or if you've gone into people's homes, you've done ethnographies, and you've got some video editing equipment, some short clips that just let the client talk in his or her own words is very, very valuable. And what we do sometimes, we'll put together an 8 or 9 minute compilation of clips of respondents talking. And again, just like when you're writing the report, it shouldn't just be a hodgepodge of clips, but what I like to do is figure out some key themes of what I'm trying to say, and then divide my video up into key themes. And it might be as simple as chapter 1 is who we are, you know, in their own words, talking about what they do, and how we interact with your product might be number 2, and number 3 might be what we like, and chapter 4 might be what we don't like. You know, I mean, I'm just making this stuff up, but I think it's important to have good organization in your video, just like it's important to have good organization in your qualitative report. Now, quantitative is a whole different thing, but there are many similarities. Most quantitative reports are very long. Though not necessarily the case. Again, you've got to read your audience, but I've seen them, you know, they could be 150 pages, one after another of tables and bar charts and line charts and things like that. But again, the fundamental rules of good reporting still apply. Organize into chapters, tell your story. You always want to have a good executive summary, whether it's qualitative or quantitative. Some people like to have it at the end. I like to put it in the beginning. You know, tell people, make sure that, you know, if people are going to walk away with anything from your report, it's going to be that they've understood the following things, that these are the important things that they need to know. That's all the points that I want to make for this week. You're all getting credit for 2 points for the discussion, but if you've got anything to add in terms of the discussion for this week, I'll give you some extra points. And most importantly, work on your projects. And we've got finals coming up. I'll post the questions by the end of this weekend. And please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions about your final projects. And if you want to send me some early drafts, I'll be happy to look at them and get back to you with feedback before the week is up. Okay, thanks very much, and we'll talk soon.